Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Invictus Racing League IRL F1 League on the PlayStation with myself, Gareth Hall, and as always, Alan Sabatino. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a week off, hasn't it? And we are back here tonight with the US Grand Prix. I can't wait to see what these guys get up to this evening. We look like we have a few familiar faces coming back and also some new ones as well.
We do. So, some, as you say, some familiar faces making a return, and a couple of brand new rookies into the league. SSG Dylan joins us for the first time, so welcome to him. And as you say, a couple of the F2 boys once again making that jump up into the F1 League. The likes of Nightshades is going to be making an appearance this evening as well. But before we get started, Sab, it's something I think we've got to definitely, I felt like we needed to touch on. And of course, last week we had the heavy news in the world of F1 that we lost Murray Walker at the age of 97, and I just wanted to I wrote down a couple of my thoughts last week, and I was kind of gutted really that we had that week off, because I didn't want to feel like we were extending the loss really, but I just obviously I think we spoke just before about the fact that we just have just a little bit of a chat about our favourite Murray moments. And I mean, just over a week ago, I think motorsport itself lost a true legend. It sucks that, as I said, that we had to wait so long to express our gratitude on broadcast to who was, to me, the single greatest motorsports commentator of all time. To millions like myself, Murray Walker was the voice of Formula One. He was to motorsport what John Mutson was to British football, Jim Ross is to professional wrestling, and John Madden was to the NFL. He is an icon, a voice that generations of fans, young and old, would tune into, whether it was two wheels or four. He covered the golden era of British motorcycling and the British Touring Car Championships. He made British Rallycross must-see mainstream viewing in the 1970s. But most of all to us, he was the person that we heard behind the microphone for decades, covering Formula One full-time from 1978 to 2001. His first world champion was Mario Andretti, and his last, the late, great Michael Schumacher. Whilst his voice brought home 12 world champions and legends such as Senna, Prost and Lauda. But to me, he wasn't just a commentator, he was a gatekeeper into the world of passion, excitement and joy as a kid growing up in the 90s. He gave us the iconic Damers Hill is the world champion in 1996, and I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat, as my childhood idol took his only world championship. But he also had to break the sad news of the death of Ayrton Senna and navigate his way through the crazy 1998 Belgian Grand Prix start with the chaos that took out half the grid. He wasn't perfect, he made mistakes, affectionately known as Murrayisms, but didn't he not style them out? He made sure that he powered through those errors, and whilst everyone may have giggled and sniggered about it, he continued flawlessly and professionally with humour. He showed all budding broadcasters that it's okay to make mistakes, even at the top level, and even that the best get tongue twisted. He was kind but strong-willed. He didn't take nonsense from the drivers if they weren't at their absolute best that he demanded, as the drivers were part of the pinnacle of motorsport, but seemed to connect with them when speaking to them, as his personality and passion appeared so infectious. That I was speaking to a friend recently in sim racing, and he said to me, to him, it's rare to find people like us, Sab, the ones that are happy to give up their time to go behind a microphone, and I don't know from your point of view, but prioritise commentary over driving. But really just to bring some light entertainment to the watching audience, and whether that's one person or 1,500 people. But enjoy what we do, not see it as a chore or a task. Enjoy a good rapport, work hard to get better, but most importantly, have fun doing it. And to me, partly that's because I grew up watching Murray. He made the idea of being behind a microphone look fun, exciting, and he made it look good so effortlessly. I was late into commentary. I didn't start until my late 20s. But after reading about Murray, I tried to make the way that I prepare for each race, online and offline, so detailed, with a meticulous approach, with a keen eye for history, to create a broadcast like a jigsaw puzzle and bring everything together succinctly. And whether it's IRL or if it's on the real tracks with the mini bike British Championships, much like Murray, Walker's wealth of knowledge served him on broadcast. I tried to do the same. He is for me the gold standard in motorsports commentary. He had it. He was the master communicator, and even in the quietest points of a race, with a flash of a second, he could turn it in and turn it on and electrify the airwaves with his knowledge and power of voice. Sadly, I doubt that we'll ever see a commentator with such longevity in our sport again, loved by many, but most of all, importantly, respected by all. So we sadly tip our hat and our microphones and say farewell to the man who not only graced our homes for decades, fought for his nation in World War II as a tank commander, and was the brains behind some of the most high-profile advertising campaigns in the 1960s and 70s that our parents and grandparents grew up with. So while it's a sad time for us as fans, as broadcasters, both professional and amateur, I'm sure you'll all join us all by saying thank you to Captain Murray Walker, remember him fondly, with 1 minute silence at the beginning of qualifying this evening. He was the reason why so many of us tuned in to Formula One growing up and still do to this day. So, Sab, as Murray once said to Martin Brundle the night before his first ever commentary, we're only here to inform and entertain. So I think it's time to go racing tonight.
It certainly is, and I have to say, Gareth, that was a real touching and real well said piece you did there. You couldn't have said it any better. He is the voice of Formula 1, and you said a few key words there, what I think for me summed Murray Walker up, and that was fun and exciting. He brought life to watching races, didn't he? And without trying to repeat what you've just said, I don't think we will ever have anybody quite like Murray Walker ever again. And as you say, he's shown us that doing commentary can be fun, and you can bring entertainment to others as well. And if it's, as you say, just 30 people on a Monday night or 5,000 people live on another YouTube channel, no matter how you do it, have fun, enjoy yourself, and yeah, Murray Walker is one of the true very best, and he shall definitely be missed. So the minute silence we're about to have now will thoroughly be deserved for him. So yeah, thank you, Murray, and thank you, Gareth, for that piece. That was very, very moving. Thank you.
Murray Walker, who died last week, age 97, the greatest motorsports commentator of all time. But it would be a miss for us, Sab, to not give it absolutely everything tonight in remembrance for a true icon in world motorsport. And well, we're here at COTA. It's been a while since we're here, and well, a circuit that takes its inspiration from quite a few other corners around the world. Of course, you might recognise the first sector being much like Maggotts and Beckett's. You might recognise the third sector being much like Turkey. So, Sab, what's your opinion here at COTA?
I find it very tricky, especially that first sector. It's like you say, it's like Maggotts and Beckett's, isn't it? It's very tricky, fast, and you get it slightly wrong through there, you can find yourself invalidating in qualifying or even picking up a penalty for track limits. So that first sector for me is quite key, especially going for a qualifying lap. You don't nail that and you find yourself really chasing the lap throughout the rest of it. But you'd think with those long straights we should, fingers crossed, have plenty of close racing and overtaking this evening. We see the guys now, 19 drivers with us this evening, all starting to filter out onto the track. The first one to cross the line to start his first line lap will be Andre in the Haas. He's going on for a run on the soft tyre, so no mess about from Andre as Andre now goes up that very steep hill to turn 1.
And Andre, who's had a pretty good, decent season so far, especially in qualifying, he's tended to kind of switch it on when it comes to qualifying, so we'll see what he can do over the opening stage of this one. Of course, very tricky opening sector, very easy to get it wrong. We've got a yellow in sector 3, just cars backing up, getting ready to set their first laps as Andre makes his way around the corners to get slower and slower and slower and to scrub off enough speed to send you down the hill towards the one of the heaviest braking zones on the lap, apart from the exit of the next straight that he's about to appear on, the first DRS straight of the lap here at the Circuit of the Americas in the Lone Star state of Texas in the USA. And Andre in the Haas makes his way down, DRS flap wide open as he goes underneath the banner of F1 2020 to the braking zone. And luckily, just a little bit of a kiss of a lock up there, and seemingly keeping it nice and clean is the Haas driver, and making his way into the third sector. And it's a third sector that can catch out drivers, especially this corner that we see here, the left-hander. It's very easy to get on the power early, turn the car around, just lose the balance, and then you're going into high-load double right-hander, almost a double apex as you go around. It's almost like a reverse version of Pouon that we see at Belgium. But Andre now coming into the final 2 corners of this one. Looks as though he's kept it clean. Can he do so around the final corner? Yes, he can. Up to the line, 130 flat. And it's a decent banker there from Andre. Expect pole to be in the low 129s. We know that the likes of Harry has been hoping to set a time. It's around about a low 29, so decent first banker there from Andre.
It is a decent banker, and you mentioned Harry. What are you thinking, Gareth, tonight with Harry? Going into this race, we see it's a bigger grid this evening, and the likes of his teammate Hercules. We've also got as Nathan, Andre's teammate, just goes a little bit quicker and tops himself into that pole position as Rudy there, 129.974, the Red Bull. But yeah, going back, Gareth, it's going to be a tricky evening, I think, with such a full grid this evening for Harry, and you've got the likes of Cliffy. Welcome back to Cliffy. Back this evening. Cliffy usually is lightning fast, but we've often seen him, haven't we, Gareth, that sometimes we don't know what Cliffy's going to turn up in qualifying, but in the race, if he starts from the back, he's usually lightning fast. So I think this evening, for me, this could be quite a tricky qualifying for Harry, but he'll be hoping to prove me wrong, I think.
Yep, as the 2 McLarens currently head up the grid with 129.4 and 29.5 for Dylan and Stinson. Harry goes into third position. Not a great bank lap from Harry, a 29.598. And below him is Rudy, who's had a decent upturn this season. Really come out the gates pretty hot in the opening 6 races of the season. 3 third-place finishes has got him second in the championship. Of course, there's a monster of a gap now to Harry. Harry, after taking, unfortunately, a post-race penalty that was applied to Beastas after Austria, saw Beastas and Harry swap positions, so it actually means that Harry took a 5th win out of 6 to open the season and extend the championship lead to 38 points. So in fact, Sab, Harry could miss the next 2 races. He could retire from this one and from the next and still be leading the championship by 8 points if Rudy won both of them. So that shows you just how strong Harry's been in the opening stages of this season.
It does, and it's a shame, wasn't it, for Beastas? It was a superb race in Austria between him and Harry, and it's a real shame to see him lose that first place. So he'll be hoping, you'd imagine, to rectify that from last time and try and take the win this time. I was just riding on board with TL44S. He's had a troublesome first half of the season. He's just slotted himself into the top 10 in 8th place with a 130.166.
There's Speedy Serrano currently in the third sector now, and the man with the Fernando Alonso inspired crash helmet coming around to the final corner. What can Serrano do? A pretty decent debut last week in Austria, going a little bit wide through the final corner, only up into 10th position with a 30.8. But yeah, starting 16th, managed to come home in 7th. A very decent opening race for the Spaniard, and well, we'll see what he can do. He's currently just ahead of his teammate Burnmeister, who was on a 30.1, so expect to see the two Ferraris battling out, possibly on the bubble just outside of the top 10.
I'm just going to keep an eye on JCol, who had a super start to the season, didn't he, Gareth? And then, unfortunately, missing a few races here and there, it's just tailed away for him towards the halfway stage of this season. And just as I ride on board with him, he invalidates through that tricky first sector. So, unfortunately for JCol, it's going to have to try again, maybe look after his tyres and go once more if he's got the fuel. But unfortunately for JCol, this lap will not count for him, and he'll be hoping to try and find that form, I imagine, from the beginning of the season, because he certainly had pace and he certainly had some racecraft about him, and gave the likes of Harry and a few others at the front something to think about. So fingers crossed we can see more of that from JCol in the second half of the season.
Yeah, absolutely so. Hasn't had the best of runs since his victory back at the second race of the season in Australia. So, as you say, hopefully he can pick it up in this second half. The man who has been doing quite nicely. It's been a bit on and off, but Bisas last week, very, very good race indeed. As we said, just dropped back to second with that 5-second penalty being involved in Hercules and Stinson, turn 3 of lap 1. But Bisas now coming down to the heavy braking zone at the end of the DRS straight, down towards turn, let's have a look, turn 12, sorry, I haven't checked my notes, my track map was upside down, but yeah, Bisas now coming into the third sector, a little bit wide, you can see locking up the brake there, but keeps himself on the off-camber part of the racetrack, and now onto the high-load right-hander, kissing the apex at every part of it, and into a very tricky left-hand turn, and it's very easy to run out wide and invalidate your lap at the last etchings, which is always ever so frustrating. But Bisas up to the line, what can he do? Provisionally 4th place Bisas to 29.612, fractionally slower than Harry. Once again, it looks as though those two are going to be close on circuit. If you're joining us, welcome this evening. This is the 7th round of the IRL F1 League here from the Circuit of the Americas in the USA, as we start the second half of this season that has been dominated by Harry BR25 so far. Last time we were here, it was Season 9, Round 5, back on F1 2019, the last race before Christmas. Pole was taken by the Warrislander, and this shows you just how much faster the game has got. Pole was taken in a 1:31.208, so even with the banker laps, they've already gone almost 2 seconds faster. However, it was won by Hercules. He ended up going from 3rd on the grid to the win. He came home with Harry behind him, who ended up picking up a 2-place grid race penalty for blocking Foxy, and so I don't think Harry's ever given Foxy a bit of slack for that. I'm sure he was happy with it at all, but it was Harry in second, and it ended up being San Pepito in 3rd place. But back other races, well, we were back here in Season 6 and Season 5, back in when it was the former No Assists race and No Assists League. Scopefielder and CRG Gamer 62 former race winners here. So, well, apart from Hercules picking up that win here last time, it's always been champions that have ended up winning here at COTA, and Hercules was very unlucky a few seasons ago not to be a champion. So you've got to think that if Harry can add his name that, he's got to nail himself on for a potential championship win, about 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, that's would sound good for Harry. I was just riding on board with Dylan, and he was very impressive, been very impressive so far, but unfortunately is invalidated in the second sector and is coming into the pit lane now. So I'm just going to flick over to his teammate, and Stinson has also invalidated. So both the McLarens not doing so well on this run. Harry's also just invalidated as well, just on the second to last corner. So the front 3 guys at the moment finding it tough on the final run, and then Harry peels into the pits, has had enough of that, and Stinson just coming up to the 3rd sector now, I imagine will probably peel into the pits as well. So the top 3 finding it difficult on this latest run.
As TL4S currently in 9th position, kicks the rear end out, almost goes straight into the Armco barrier, but manages to hold on to it. But I'm sure he's going to have to back out that one. He was all out of shape on exit of turn 11. But, well, DRS open, he's still going for it. But, Tom losing a heap of time going onto the fastest part of the circuit. And he's currently in 9th place. His best qualifying result so far was 7th that he picked up 2 races ago. But, well, this time around, we'll see if he sticks with it. But that was a scary moment for the AlphaTauri, looking as though he was going to have a big old accident in somewhere where he was completely on his own. It's very easy just to pick up the throttle a little bit too early here. Just, you want to maximise your track time. You want to maximise every single inch of the circuit. However, yeah, there we go. Into the box comes TL44S. He decides that maybe too much love went into the throttle pedal on the exit of that corner.
I'm just looking at Bando. Bando Biz is just invalidating. I was just about to say, Gareth, he has set a very nice, clean time there, hasn't he? A 1:30 exactly. And he was just under 2/10 fast as well, but unfortunately cut the corner after that long straight, and that was the end of that run. So Bando Biz was potentially going to get himself into the top 5. Unfortunately, the Racing Point driver is not going to do that. But it looks like Bando is going to... Oh, no, this is... Is he going to go for another run? He's gone for it again, but no, he's not. He's backed off. So Bando Biz stays in 7th place.
Only just over 5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session this evening. A tribute to Murray Walker this evening. And I'm sure everyone out there will be doing their best to put on as a good a show as possible. And if you'd like to watch a tribute video, Mark Alamonda, you can go and search him on YouTube, just released a video at 7 o'clock today with a couple of F1 gaming commentators. I was lucky enough to be asked to take part of it alongside some others like George Morgan and Kieran McGinley and Jess Ball, several other quite prominent commentators. And yeah, Mark did a great job, so go check that video out it's all over Twitter at the moment if you're involved in the F1 community. But just whilst that happened, MNT Hercules up into 3rd place on the grid, jumping ahead of Harry. And of course, Harry, who's back in the pit lane after invalidating his second run, he's got a bit of work to do, because currently we've got an all McLaren front row, all Renault second row, but Harry, well, so far he's taken 5 or 6 pole positions. Not at the moment. It's not going his way.
No, it isn't, and I can't imagine he would be best pleased to see his teammates slot up ahead of him, as he's also already got to try and think about getting past those McLarens. I'm just going to keep an eye on Bisas, and Bisas is currently 0.3 of a second up on his current time, so Bisas could get in Harry's way once again this evening. He's coming around that tricky left-hand turn around a long right sweeping corner. I love this part of the track with Bisas is on now. Just a couple of corners here to keep it clean. Can Bisas keep it clean? You'd imagine if he does, he's going to surely maybe get it on the front row, even could be fastest here. So Bisas round the final corner. Here comes Bisas, and he does go quicker. What a lap time that was. 1:29.314, and that pushes Harry down into 5th place and puts the real pressure on the Renault driver with just over 3 minutes left on the clock.
Mega lap time there from the AlphaTauri driver, 1/10.5 faster than anyone else out on circuit at the moment. We've got a couple of drivers out on an out lap. We've got Limitless, Burmeister, Foxy, Nightshades and JCol all making their way out, and as you say, Cliffy making that return to a Monday evening, and once again not enjoying qualifying. But we often see him, as you said earlier, doing this mazy run from the back of the grid through to the front of the order. So check out the Mercedes late in this one, because if he does end up being towards the back end of the grid, expect to see him fighting towards the front later in the race. He tends to slip his way through a grid like a hot knife through butter, does Cliffy7765. But out on circuit, we've got JCol and we've got Nightshades. Just checking in with where's Nightshades, the F2 driver that's making the step up to F1 over the last few weeks, just to get his eye in as he tests out some no assists running. And well, at the moment, JJ or Nightshades is currently, he's not been too badly. He thinks he can go a little bit faster, but well, he's only half a tenth off of Cliffy, so that's nothing to be too upset about as he backs off, getting ready to go for his final run. You don't want to pick up any dirty air going through the first sector. And the Williams driver heading up towards turn 1. There's a little bit of traffic on the inside. It looks as though the McLaren's going to get out of the way, and he does. And that was looks as though one of either Dylan or Stinson, both of them on an out lap. We've got everyone out on circuit now, Sab, apart from Nathan, about with 1 minute 50 seconds left to go, and you really can't call pole position here.
No, you can't at all. It's really finely poised, isn't it? I'm just keeping an eye on Foxy Red. He's down in 15th place. He is going quicker. He's just coming up to the final corner now. Doesn't want to. He's just a slight look up there, but shouldn't put him off too much. Where does this put Foxy? It's only up one place into 14th. So at the minute, it's not a good qualifying for Foxy Red down in 14th place with his teammate only in 12th.
As Beastas decides that's all he's got for this one. He's not going out again. He's happy with that 129.314 that currently holds provisional pole position. And equally joining him is TGD Nathan in 9th place. And Nathan possibly in danger of dropping outside the top 10 with that time, as Nightshade's now coming up to the or coming through the third sector. There's a lot of traffic up ahead though for the Williams driver. Is everyone going to scatter out the way? They are very nicely passing the waters is the Williams as he makes his way through the traffic that gets off to the right hand side of the circuit. But here we go, Nightshade to the final corner. What can he do? He's currently on a 31.0. Can he improve on that time and move himself up? He can. It's a 30.713. Good time there from Nightshades, as I say, making his only a second appearance in the F1 League. He goes up into 16th position. However, we've got some drivers out on fast laps, one of those being SSG Dylan, the man currently in second place at 29.462. Stinson, Hercules, Harry, Rudy, they're all on laps. Where's this going, Sab?
Well, I reckon it could be Harry. He's 0.3 of a second up through the second sector, and now he's coming around that long right-hander I love, and a couple of corners left. If Harry gets this nailed on, you'd imagine it's going to be around Beastas or even beat Beastas here. Harry coming around the final corner now, nice and tight into that corner, coming across the line now. Can Harry do it? Oh, he can do it. He can do it very well. 129.113. That is a mega lap from Harry there.
Yeah, as Andre puts it up into third place as well. Where did that come from the house driver? Great lap there from Andre. But who else have we got on circuit? Well, we've got Dylan, we've got Stinson, we've also got Hercules that are out on track. Rudy, you don't count him out. He's been in mega form so far this season as well. So, and equally, I mean, Bando's a bit of a sleeper. You never know what we're going to get from him in qualifying. But Dylan making his way into the third sector. He's now just gone through turn 15. Now into the long right-hander, just goes on forever as Serrano retires. He's down in 18th position. It's a quality to forget for Speedy Serrano. Now to the final corner comes Dylan. What can he do? He was on provisional pole earlier on. Can he improve? Here comes Dylan. He can't improve. It's a slightly, it's well off. It's 2.5 tenths off. So his teammate's going to look to go faster. And in fact, Stinson is going faster. It's almost 2.5 tenths up on his time. What can the McLaren driver do? Can he challenge Harry for provisional pole? He can. It's a 29 flat. Great lap there from Stinson. Now it's all going to be on Hercules, and Hercules can't improve. Rudy can't improve. So Stinson at the death steals it away from Harry. He finally breaks that spell of pole positions for Harry BR25, gets himself ahead of the Renault. Beastas in third place. He thought he was safe on pole, but well, he's been smashed by 0.3 of a second. Andre, another brilliant qualifying session for the Haas driver in fourth place. Dylan and Hercules make it fifth and sixth. Rudy and Bando in seventh and eighth. And your top 10 is rounded out by TTG Nathan and Scopefielder, who we haven't talked about so far. Scope not really switching it on so far this season. However, a top 10 finish, not great in qualifying to be in that poison chalice position of 10th.
That was a fascinating qualifying, wasn't it? And you'd have to say qualifying driver has to be go to Stinson, but wow, what a lap that was from Andre, and I can imagine this is not going to be an easy race for Harry if he wants to win again.
No, absolutely not, and there you go, Stinson takes pole position, snatching it away by just under 0.05 of a second. Harry in second with Beastas third. Then you've got Andre, Dylan, Hercules, Rudy, Bando, Nathan and Scopefielder rounding out the top 10. JCol is the first driver to get a tyre choice in 11th position. CL4S, Limitless, Humbostone, Burmeister, Foxy Red 2000, Nightshade, Speedy Serrano and Cliffy in his return, deciding for the medium tyres and the back of the grid. But, well, let's watch out for this one. This one is going to be electric. And if you are enjoying it, guys, make sure you press the like button. Really, really does help us out. It helps that pesky YouTube algorithm. And, of course, if you're new, and if you're enjoying it, you can subscribe you can ring the bell to be notified every time we go live with a new video, and you can go to the social media channels at Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram, and of course go to the website invictusracingleague.com to find out all about the league's standings, stewards, the lot. You can go find it by going to the website. You can find me on Twitter at GT2_driving. You can find Sab at Alan Sabatino. And, well, it's dramatically darker. We can see the clouds have rolled in for the race, but of course that would mean the track temperature's a little bit further south, which is maybe not what these guys on the softer rubber will want too much. They want warmer tyres to be a little bit more grippy, but of course it will take them a little bit longer to get up to temperature, so watch them working that wheel on the formation lap. But Sab, Stinson, well, we've talked about this all season long, haven't we? If he can keep penalty clean, he's got a shot over this, but it's one thing that he's really struggled with so far this season.
Yeah, exactly. I think Stinson could have potentially had at least 2 race victories this season if it wasn't for penalties, and unfortunately those penalties have really hindered him. He's definitely got the pace, hasn't he? Has proven there, and he certainly is racy when it comes to being in the race and challenging with the likes of Harry. But this track, it's quite easy to run wide, especially through that first sector, so you want to watch out for that. But even with those Stinsons on pole and even Harry in second, I say, after seeing Beastas a couple of weeks ago in Austria, I've got one eye on Beastas. I think he'll have a point to prove tonight after having that race victory taken away from him due to penalties after the race. I'm sure he'll be wanting to come in and say, I really want to win officially this time, and I want to put my name on that board as a race winner here, and he'll want to make this official. But you can't rule out the rest of them either. You've got the likes of Dylan and Hercules. Dylan having a very, very impressive qualifying this evening in the McLaren, and Hercules, I think he invalidated in his final run, I believe, I've seen. So Hercules will be wanting to try and catch up with his teammates. He'll not be too pleased, I imagine. He's down there. But we've looked at our weather forecast, Gareth. It's supposed to be only overcast, but it looks rather ominous. Let's hope. Me personally, I'm hoping for a bit of rain, but I don't think it's coming.
No, it does look very gloomy indeed. But yeah, it always does just give us just an inkling of a chance of rain, and just takes it away at the final stages. I'm sure we'll see the sun break through and dash our hopes of perhaps a mixed up race. But it will be Stinson on pole position alongside championship leader, runaway championship leader, Harry BR25. And well, I'm really looking forward to this one. This is one that we haven't been here in a while. We haven't raced here in Invictus for quite a few seasons, and previously I think it's only 3 times that Invictus has been here in a whole. So it's a bit of an unknown for us to really see this current grid on the only a couple of drivers left over from last time we were here back in season 9. But well, what can Stinson do? You can see everyone in top 10 on the soft tyres. But Sab, who's gone for the medium tyres?
Well, everybody has gone for the medium tyres on the outside of the top 10, except Foxy Red in 16th place, who's gone on a set of soft tyres. So JCol is the front runners of those medium tyres. He'll be hoping to get a bit of a toe from the likes of Scopefield and Nathan ahead of him, and try and get himself mixed into that top 10 battle, and see if he can get himself involved and really push those medium tyres much longer into this race, and find himself battling towards the front end of this field. But one eye is definitely on Foxy Red this evening on those soft tyres. He'll be hoping to try and clear those medium runs ahead of him quite quickly, because otherwise this soft tyre strategy will really start to hurt him quite quickly if he gets stuck behind the likes of Burmeister or Humberstone or Limitless ahead of him on those medium tyres.
You're here for the 7th round of the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation, part of Invictus Racing League, with myself, Gareth Hall, and Alan Sabatino covering this one. We're about to get going ever so shortly, but we're here at the Circuit of the Americas in the Lone Star State in Texas. It's just one of the latest of American Grand Prix to be held, the likes of Sebring, Phoenix, Indy, Watkins Glen, Riverside, Detroit, Long Beach, Las Vegas. They've all been on the F1 grid, but it is the first permanent home for Formula One. It's 20 turns. It's a 200-metre dash up, a 130-foot climb to turn 1. The longest straight is just under 1,100 metres, with full throttle 63% of the lap, 54 gear changes. That's 1,512 over the race. And, well, Harry and Stinson are going to be getting very itchy trigger fingers on that shifter as they get ready to line up in their grid slots. You're about to hear the engine notes rise, sending 19 cars, not 20 cars, 19 cars thundering up the hill to turn 1. Let's get ready for the 7th round of the IRL F1 League. It's going to be an absolute cracker. We've got 1 lap, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 laps. And it's go, go, go here for the 7th round of the IRL F1 League from the Circuit of the Americas in Dakota. And it looks as though Stinson's got a good run. Hercules from all the way back is going to send it on his teammate. There's almost contact between the pair of them, but Hercules now up. We've got a big contact behind him. That's Beastas that's gone into the side of the Red Bull. I think it's Beastas and Rudy that have collected each other. You could see him spearing across the circuit, and so Beastas from a great position all the way to the back of the grid. It's not worked out, and unfortunately that's dropped both him and Rudy, the 2 men, 2nd and 3rd in the championship, down to the bottom of the grid already.
That's also cost Dylan as well. Dylan's dropped down as well into 16th place. But I think that all started because Andre sent one up the inside of Beastas and really forced Beastas out of the track. And Beastas then trying to recover, come back onto the track. And I think that's where it all started. Andre, it was a bit bold, I think a bit ambitious at early stage to really send one like that, and he got away with it in the end. He didn't pick up any damage, and I think Beastas will be quite frustrated, but the Haas team will be delighted, won't they? They're currently sat in 4th and 5th, and further ahead, Harry into 2nd place with Hercules making a solid start as well in 3rd. So at the moment, Stinson is going to get bullied by these Renault guys as Stinson's teammates Dylan all the way down in 15th place, can't do anything about it at the moment.
No, and Dylan, of course, on used soft tyres, so not ideal. You can see projected pit stop strategy will be soft and hard to be. Expect to see the guys go soft to mediums. Expect to see them work, but Stinson comes across the line. He's your leader after lap 1, and well, Harry in 2nd, Hercules making a brilliant launch into 3rd place. Will we see the 2 Renaults go at each other? We know that Hercules he's got some pride. He does not want to see his teammate be the dominant force in Renault. He wants to get himself back up onto the front row and back up onto the top step of the rostrum for the first time in quite a while. Harry, no stranger to the podium this season. He's only missed out once in the first 6 races of the season back in Australia, but Hercules chasing down Harry as we get everyone filtering into position. We've got the 2 Renaults followed by the 2 Hasses. Bando Business held on to 8th position. Then you've got the 2 Alfa Romeos with Foxy Red making up a great start there, Sab, all the way up into 10th already.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal start from Fox Red. It's exactly what he needed on those soft tyres, and he's got his teammate not too far ahead either as well. So yeah, super start there for Foxy Red. But just looking further ahead, Harry slowly starting to get onto the back of that McLaren of Stinson. Hercules not too far away either. So I imagine these 2 in the Renault will be thinking up of a strategy now how to get past Stinson, how to beat him, maybe through pit stop phase, or is Harry going to try and overtake him on track before the pit stop stage? But at the moment, he's just hanging on to the back of that to McLaren, half a second behind, with DRS about to be enabled.
Yeah, Harry told us before the race that it's one of his least favourite circuits on the calendar, and so to be in 2nd position, I'm sure he'll be pretty happy in the moment, but closing in, as you say, on Stinson. DRS now enabled for everyone, so a little bit of boost going down the back straight from turn 11 to turn 12, and of course from the final corner up to turn 1. Limitless was getting close to the back of TL44S in 11th and 10th positions. Up ahead, well, it's all going to be who can put the best laps in early on, who can look after those tyres. One of those is going to be Cliffy, already up into 14th position on a fresh set of medium tyres, like the majority of the guys outside the top 10. Only Foxy, who's now up into 8th place. So Foxy making a brilliant start, as you say, a phenomenal start there from the Alfa Romeo, cruising up to the back end of his teammate. And well, Cliffy in 14th position, he'll be pretty happy with that. He's got Humbostone ahead of him. He's going to go dive to the inside, not quite close enough, but he is going to get a spell of DRS down this back straight. So this should, if he uses a little bit of battery, we'll see if Cliffy closes in. There we go, peels to the left hand side and should get down the inside of Humbostone up into 13th position. And Cliffy in the Mercedes making moves already.
One guy who's also making moves is Bando Biz. Bando has overtaken TG Nathan for 5th place with the aid of DRS, and Bando Biz now setting off to go after the second half of Andre, about 1.5 seconds up the road from Bando at the moment. So TG Nathan drops down to 6th. He's got to have to keep one eye on the cars behind, because Schofield is starting to reel him in as well. So Nathan, he's in a tough spot right now. He's got to try and focus on retaking that place back off Bando, but also he doesn't want to get overtaken by Schofield, who's pretty handy at moves on cars around these sort of circuits.
Yeah, absolutely so. As you can see, Bando not dropping Nathan. Schofield and Foxy that are trying to stay with him and hoping to make it a little bit of a DRS train, as we're on lap 4 of 28 here from the Circuit of the Americas, the 7th round of the season of the IRL F1 League, the premier class of Invictus Racing League. Of course, these guys all running no assists on the car, and well, doing a very good job of it indeed. Only 3 seconds has been picked up by Burmeister so far. He's down in 12th position, is the Dutchman, fighting in that gaggle of cars behind Tilford Air with Limitless, and Cliffy now closing up to the back of the Dutchman. You can see as we look from the rear wing of Nathan towards Schofield trying to hunt him down, but with the DRS open for Nathan, he should be able to defend that pretty easily. Up ahead, you can see Stinson and the 2 Renaults are starting to make it a bit of a breakaway from the chasing hat of Andre. 1.4 seconds they've now got an advantage, so it looks as though your top 3 are starting to stretch their legs a little bit. Is this going to be the battle we see all race long? Will we see someone crash the party later on when we see the tyre changes, when it goes the guys that started inside the top 10 swapping onto the mediums and vice versa? Will we see someone on that alternate strategy making it count, the likes of Cliffy? It looks as though Dylan, having to make that stop along with Rudy, is way down the order and way down off the back as Humberstone picks up 3 seconds. So although he's on hards and he's going to probably look to go to the end, it's going to be a tricky start to the career for SSG Dylan 45.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? After such a good qualifying debut for him, he's just going to have to hope potentially for a safety car now to try and bring him back into this race. I'm keeping an eye on the battle for 5th. Bando Biz hasn't, like you said on the previous lap, hasn't shaken Nathan away from him, and Bando Biz now forming a bit of a train around this circuit with the likes of Nathan, Schofield, the Foxy Red not too far behind, with JCol just a little bit off this battle, but he can see them further ahead. But Bando Biz doing well in as TG Nathan all out of shape coming out of that corner, and Schofield says thank you very much, and Schofield with ease passes the Haas car. Nathan pretty much was on the left hand side of the track there trying to get that car under control, and Schofield with a very easy overtake there into 6th place. And now Schofield's eyes will be on Bando Biz of that racing point, and you can't gift positions like that to the likes of Schofield, can you, Gareth? Because Schofield will always punish you.
Yeah, absolutely so. And one man that got punished for making slightly out of shape was Burmeister, getting it wrong at turn 9. That gave the door wide open for Cliffy, and he managed to get down the inside and now up into 12th place. And it's take position, lose position for the Ferraris as Speedy Serrano got past Humberstone on that last lap as well. So Speedy now up into 14th as he then picks up 3 seconds for his troubles. So once again, whilst we're complimenting people making moves, they then go back and punish us with it. But there you can go to the 2 Ferraris in 13th and 14th position. Up ahead, we've still got the leading trio of Stinson, Harry and Hercules, all trying to stay in DRS of each other, all trying to stay in this battle for the lead. Harry probably just quite happy just to shadow Stinson at the moment, just save some fuel, save some battery. You can see Hercules doing the same. He's not used too much battery so far in this one as he's trying to close in on his teammate. In fact, Harry gets a little bit of a lock up there going into turn 11, and that's going to possibly just give a glint in the eye for Hercules behind, thinking I can catch you. And here we go, he's got a good toe. It looks as though he's not using any unnecessary battery down the back straight though, so happy to stay behind his teammate for 2nd and 3rd position. Harry's going to be eyeing up a decent result tonight, knowing that Rudy and Beasthass are way down the order, so surely if Harry stays with this, even if he just picks up a podium, you've got to say that the championship is going no other place than to the home of Harry BR25.
I totally agree, and what's happening here now is interesting. Stinson has managed to break that 1 second barrier, so Harry won't be getting DRS, whereas his teammate will be getting DRS. So, as we see Bando Biz, first of the top 5, pick up a penalty, 3-second time penalty for Bando. So, yeah, Harry's dropped out of the 1-second window to Stinson. So, it'll be interesting to see now, does Harry hold his teammate up, or does he allow his teammate past and maybe have an attack on Stinson? It's going to be fascinating to see what these guys do in a moment, because it seemingly looks like Stinson is starting to really pull away now as it's creeping up to 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, the afterburners have very much been put on for the Dutchman leading this one. He's stretched out almost, he's taken about 0.5 of a second in a lap over Harry. So Harry obviously getting it wrong. Perhaps he's got a little bit too much temperature in those tyres, because he's losing a lot of time to the man currently leading. And as you say, quite rightly, does he allow his teammate through to have an attack, as Limitless picks up 3 seconds down in 11th position. Now here comes Hercules. Is he going to close in on Harry? Yeah, he is. He's going to be in the tow. Overtake is on, push to pass, lets him pass, and through into 2nd position goes Hercules. Now, if you're Harry, does he come in, trying to get in on the undercut, because surely his tyres have gone off. He's lost, he's now 1.9 seconds and losing more time corner for corner over Stinson. So does he come in and go for a very early undercut? Because at the moment he's starting to lose touch, not only with Stinson leading this one, but you can see already Hercules stretching out to half a second.
It's crazy, isn't it? That as you was talking about that at the beginning of this lap, it was around 1.3 seconds between Harry and Stinson, and now it's 2.1 seconds. So either, like you say, Harry's tyres have really gone, or Stinson's decided to really put the foot down here, and Hercules also not really making much of an impression on Stinson. Hercules has overtaken Harry, but that time is still creeping up. It's around 1.6, 1.7, maybe sometimes 1.8 seconds. So the moment the two Renault guys just have no answer to the McLaren driver of Stinson. So as you say, surely one of these guys are going to come in and say, let's try and undercut on this McLaren guy. But with these guys behind Stinson, Gareth, and a bit of a history of Stinson picking up penalties, are these guys thinking, not panic just yet, we know Stinson may have a mistake here and there, and we still have an opportunity to be in this race?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's playing the safe game for the Renaults. They know that the Constructors and the Drivers' Championships are very much in their favour at the moment, especially with the Red Bulls not enjoying a great evening. Rudy down in 19th position, JCol only in 9th place as well. So the Renaults just need to keep it consistent, it seems, as Foxy Red trying to close in on TTG Nathan for 7th position, as they are still behind this trail of cars behind Scopefielder, who's managed to clear Bando up into 5th position. So Scopefielder now up into a top 5, which is much better from what we've seen from Scope, but there's a send from Bando up the inside of Nathan. In fact, they're going to go side by side. Both of them kick the rear end out, so that's going to open the door and light the eyes of Foxy Red 2000 in 8th place. But you can see Bando holding on to position, but here comes Foxy thinking about it. Of course, it's a very high load corner. You can't really get an overtake in a penultimate corner here at Kota, but Bando is just about going to hold on to 6th, 7th still to Nathan, 8th to Foxy as Speedy picks up another 3 seconds. He's down in 13th position. He's on the medium tyres, so not even on the soft tyres, and using all that grip. You don't want to be picking up too many. We're only on lap 9 of 28 here. It's the 7th round of the IRL F1 League, part of Invictus Racing League. Go to invictusracingleague.com to find out more about the league. Go to Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram, Invictus RL. Find us on Twitter.
Interesting at the front, Gareth. Hercules has managed to pull it down to a second to Stinson. So within the last lap or so, Stinson has lost about half a second, 0.6 of a second to Hercules. So maybe Hercules could be using some battery, some fuel extra, and maybe Stinson has pushed a bit too hard early on. I don't know, but Stinson now falling a little bit into the clutches of Hercules, but still has that 1 second gap. The window is open now for the pit stop, so surely maybe one of these guys will come in at the end of this lap. It would be interesting to see if Stinson reacts first, or maybe one of the Renaults. They're coming round the final few corners now, so we'll shortly be able to tell you whether they do or not. I'm just riding on board with Stinson now around the second to final corner. Stinson does... No, he doesn't. He fooled me as well then. He was trying to fool Hercules. Harry does pit, so Stinson and Hercules carry on with Harry trying for the undercut. That was very sneaky from Stinson.
Oh, you got sold, even the commentator. But yeah, as you say, Stinson feigning that move into the pit lane. He stays out with Hercules, but it is Harry that dives in first. He's wanting to get rid of those used soft tyres behind. Foxy Red and Nathan having a cracking battle as Foxy goes very deep into turn 1, but at the final, or the previous lap, well, Nathan, he's very much leaving braking until the absolute last second. It looks as though Foxy had the line and got the move done, but Nathan locking all 4 wheels up, managing to keep ahead of his Alfa Romeo rival behind, holding on to 6th place. But we've still got Till44S fighting with Limitless and JCol. They're fighting over the final positions in the points in 8th, 9th and 10th. Burmeister and Speedy in 11th and 12th, as the Ferraris are looking to pick up some points this evening. They've got a little bit of work to do. Nightshade, good run so far for Nightshades in the Williams stab, currently in 14th position. I say that, he's just been passed by Harry down to 15th position, but you've got to think that Nightshade's been pretty happy with this. In this sort of debut part of his career in no assist, he's only really moved to no assist this season, testing himself up against the big boys, and he's now fighting with Harry, so no better compatriot to be putting yourself on circuit against.
Exactly, and I breathed a huge sigh then, because Harry said to dive down on Nightshades and got all out of shape, and then it allowed Nightshades to repass him. So this has not helped Harry whatsoever. He has got a lot of traffic in front of him. Next one up is Humberstone in the race point with Speedy Serrano not too far ahead. So this really hasn't worked out very well at all for Harry, as we see Hercules, his teammate, into pits, whereas Stinson has stayed out. So it'll be interesting to see, has this traffic cost Harry, and is Hercules going to stay out ahead of his teammate? Hercules coming out of the pit lane now. Where's he going to put them in terms of his teammate? Hercules coming up the hill now with Harry not too far behind, and Hercules has tagged the Ferrari. Speed Serrano just about holds onto it, but Hercules does come out ahead of Harry, and I think that traffic definitely hindered Harry, and this is also going to surely benefit Stinson. They're stuck behind that Ferrari right now, who seems to be struggling somewhat around this first sector, and both the Renaults pretty much pushing the Ferrari through his first sector. Surely Stinson comes in this lap now, and he should keep hold of his lead, with these guys losing a heap load of time behind that Ferrari.
Yeah, this is not working out for the Renaults at all. You can see it was like Hercules getting into the back of Serrano as well, so perhaps even getting a little bit too frustrated, stuck behind that Ferrari. But here comes Harry, and here comes Hercules. Hercules looks as though he's going to get the move done. Harry's not close enough to get it done on the straight. Serrano's not willing to give up the position. They're almost banging wheels down the back straight, and Harry's going to go into the back as Serrano tags him. Harry just too hot onto the brakes. Luckily, it looks as though he's kept his front wing intact, but this is not working out for the Renaults at all, involved in a battle they do not need to be in. And Serrano, as you say, not involved in this fight. He's way down the order. This is the top 2, with Stinson staying out again. So Stinson deciding, this is exactly what he did back in Mexico. Do you remember, Sab, the first race of the season? Stinson stayed out too long on the soft tyres, and in the end cost himself, because Hercules and or I believe it was Harry and I think it was Harry and Hercules managed to go do the undercut, and it worked, whereas Stinson lost a heap of time. Does this happen once again? The McLaren staying out an extra 3 laps so far on Harry.
I'll be honest with you, Gareth, I was right on board with Stinson. I was shaking my head when I seen him not go into that pit lane. Surely he must have seen them having a battle on the timing on the left with Speed Serrano, and you'd have thought, surely, right, the time is now. But no, Stinson probably knows better than I do. That's why he races in this league on a Monday night. But Stinson staying out there, lap 12 now. By the way, Andre has also pitted. Andre coming out just behind Humberstone and down in 11th place. So Andre, he's having a decent race so far. He'll be looking to try and pass the likes of Humberstone and Nightshades quite quickly. About 1.5 seconds behind them.
As Speedy Serrano got passed by Harry, but he's going to come back at him down the straight. He's going to send it down the inside into the braking point at turn 12, and Serrano back up the inside. They're going side by side. Harry is not wanting to be involved in this battle whatsoever, but Speedy Serrano is going to try and get... Here we go, he gets back up ahead. Harry is not having this at all. You can tell he's going to be spitting feathers under that crash helmet of his. He's going to go around the outside. This is up against the driver that doesn't have the tyre advantage. Hasn't stopped so far, and Harry's trying to get around him. Does finally get around the outside. Serrano takes a trip to downtown Texas down in Austin, but well, you can see Serrano all out of shape here, possibly a little bit of frustration boiling over, going very, very deep. He's going to lose a position to Nightshades as JJ goes up the inside of him, up into turn 1. But well, Harry not only did he lose a heap of time, but you can see Stinson has come in and come out 2.3 seconds behind Hercules, but Harry 1.5 seconds back off of Stinson, so Harry's lost around about 5 seconds in that exchange with the Ferrari.
Yeah, I still cannot believe Stinson left it so long, and he's 2.2 seconds behind Hercules now. That is gonna hurt him. He's got a lot of work to do now to not only get within that second, but to also pass Hercules. Hercules must be really grinning his face off in that Renault at the moment, especially after the battle they were having. I imagine Hercules was thinking he's got no chance of getting ahead of Stinson after what had happened with that Ferrari, but it's worked out nicely. But the problem with what Hercules has got now is he's got a heap load more of cars to overtake. Next up is the other Ferrari of Burmeister in 4th place. So Hercules was pretty much pushing that Ferrari around the track here, as Burmeister a bit out of shape here. Surely Hercules is going to go up the inside of the Ferrari. Nope, Burmeister's not having any of it, and both these Ferraris really getting their elbows out this evening. Hercules tried his hardest to go around the outside. Burmeister picks up a 3-second time penalty, but Hercules does eventually get clear of that Ferrari, and this is crucial, I think, for Hercules. If he can get through this traffic quite quickly and hope Stinson gets held up by him, this race could really turn in favour of Hercules, and this could be a memorable night for him. But at the moment, Stinson's now going to try and get past that Burmeister as well, and if Burmeister does anything like what he's just done to Hercules, Stinson's going to have a tough time of it.
I'm not quite sure what the Ferraris have got against the Renault team this evening. They seem to be getting their elbows out at every single stage. But yeah, now it's Stinson, as you say, his turn to try and get past Burmeister, who's running in 5th position at the moment. But Stinson, who'll be frustrated after coming in 2 laps later than Hercules. He's lost the lead, he's lost some time, and at the moment he's going to be losing more with Hercules up ahead of the Ferrari, and now with DRS on Limitless up ahead. So Stinson needs to get the move done. Push to pass is on as he gets a little bit of a boost on the exit of the corner, and there we go. Once again, push to pass is on and past the Ferrari pretty easily and swiftly down the back straight. Burmeister is not going to have anything to come back at him with. Harry is trying to close in on these guys, but he's 2 seconds off the back of Burmeister, so not working out for Harry at all. But now Hercules caught in this battle, which is a battle on circuit for what is currently 1st, 2nd and 3rd, but of course these guys yet to stop. They are all fighting for position. We've got a yellow in sector 2 and 3, that's a Haas that's gone around. It looks as though Nathan's turned it around, possibly tagged. It looks as though he'd lost it in the middle of between turn 12 and turn 13, but Hercules, well, all that advantage that he'd had coming out the pit lane, it's all gone. He's now going to get up past Limitless. It was 2.5 seconds. It's now down to under a second as Andre does the fastest time, 1:33.846 in the Haas. But Hercules, he needs to keep getting these cars in between himself and Stinson.
He does. I'm just looking at Nathan. I'm really disappointed for him. He's got most of his front wing is missing. I don't know who he's tagged or where he's had an issue, but Nathan having to peel back in, and that's going to drop him down to last on the timings. Unfortunately for Nathan, because he was having a good race there. So as Nathan does retire from the session, so that's one of the Hasses out. But yeah, Hercules into 3rd place now, looking to get the move done on TL4 TL4 fighting it, but not so much, and TL4 is passed, and Hercules now up into 2nd place, a second behind JCol, who I don't think he would have quite imagined he'd have been leading this race halfway through, but he currently is leading this race ahead of Hercules, with TL4 not far behind. Stinson not being able to get the move done on TL4 down that start finish, down that long straight, apologies. So TL4 will be holding that McLaren up, and that'll be good news for Hercules in 2nd.
And here comes Stinson sending it down the inside and gets the move done just by the skin of his teeth as it goes through and up, and he can start chasing down Hercules. And once again, that gap down to under us, or round about a second. In fact, it's holding around about the 1 second mark. Hercules now has to clear JCol, leading this one. Of course, JCol winner back in Australia, the second race of the season. Since then, he's only picked up 10 championship points, so it's not been a great return for JCol since he took the lead after round 2 in the championship. He's now got Hercules and Stinson honing in on him pretty quickly. Harry, well, it's not going to plan for Harry BR25. It looks as though he's not going to add to his race wins, because at the moment he's 2.1 seconds back off TL44S and really in a bit of no man's land. He's got no DRS to help dragging up towards the back of TL44S. He's going to have to do this on pace, but the man that is trying to do it on pace is Stinson. He's close right up to the back of Hercules. Hercules is going to benefit from some DRS on JCol, and you've got to think that Hercules is going to wait for the moment to make the move, because he doesn't want to make it jump and lose out on any DRS paces. We've seen some penalties there for Serrano and for Limitless, but here comes Stinson. We're going to get a double overtake on JCol here, and in fact we might get an overtake for the lead. Here comes down the inside, Stinson's going to make 2 in 1. There you go, fantastic move from the McLaren down into turn 12. Gets up past into the effective race leader. This one, great move there from the McLaren driver.
Wow, that was impressive. A double DRS advantage for the McLaren driver, and he clears Hercules nicely. Hercules will not be pleased about that, and I'm sure Hercules will try his hardest to get the move back on the McLaren driver. But as you say, talking of Harry, it's just been a race to forget so far for him. He's just falling away to the point now where Andre is closing in on him. Andre was 1.8, 1.9 seconds behind the Renault driver of Harry, but Andre now 1.1 seconds. It was briefly a second a moment ago. So Andre really started to put the pressure on Harry, and I don't think Harry would be too pleased to be thinking he's fighting a Haas this evening. He would have much rather have been fighting his teammate in Stinson, but the way it's going at the minute, Andre, who's having a superb race this evening, is looking to try and force a potential podium out of Harry this evening.
Yeah, as Harry closes into the back of TL44S, it's taking him far too long to do so. He's going to be bemoaning that fight that he had with Speedy Serrano. Serrano, who was not on the same strategy as the Renault, was not willing to give up the position, and Serrano currently in 9th position, yet to stop. You can see the guys that all started on medium starting to come in, the likes of JCol, Limitless and Humberstone have all come into the box, but here comes Harry. He's going to get a dose of DRS as he goes down towards turn 12, and he's going to bring with him Andre, and Andre having a very nice run indeed, and Andre getting a brilliant run. In fact, he might just think about a move, but not quite close enough. But up into 4th position goes Andre on circuit, but closing in on Harry, having a really strong races. Andre, probably the best run that we've seen from him so far. We saw him have a very good evening back in Japan earlier in the season, but at the moment he's fighting with the championship leader and putting on some serious pressure.
He really is. I'm just looking further back. There's an incredibly aggressive battle on track for 9th place between Fox Red and Speedy Serrano. And Speedy Serrano really getting his elbows out this evening. He just seems to want to fight everybody this evening for some reason. Fox Red just about gets the place sealed, and Fox Red into 9th place as Speedy Serrano peels into the pit lane and coming in for his stop. But yeah, Fox Red had a battle on his hands to claim that 9th place as Fox Red overtakes a few cars who are also in pit, so which promotes him up into 7th place. Yeah,
fantastic race we've had so far, and Harry picking up a penalty just to confirm his woes this evening, and at the moment that's dropping him off the podium, and this would give Andre a first podium in Invictus if all things stay as they are. We're on lap 18 of 28 here, the Circuit of the Americas, the 7th round of the season, as SSG Dylan picks up 3 seconds. It's not been a race to remember for the second McLaren. His teammate currently leading this one, and Dylan down in 11th place. Of course, came in on lap 1 to change the front wing after being caught up in an incident between Rudy and Beastas, as Burmeister then picks up 3 seconds. So the penalties are starting to roll in at this midpoint of the race, and you can see Andre not quite close enough to get past Harry, but he would have seen that 3 seconds flash up, so he knows that he just needs to stay within this 3-second window of the championship leader up ahead, and he'd take home a first podium here on a Monday evening. And if you're enjoying this one, guys, and you're watching, make sure you press the like button. Really does help us out. Subscribe if you're new already. We know that 30% of you that watch these races do not subscribe, so what are you doing? Press the button below and subscribe to find more. Of course, we race from Monday to Thursday here across all 3 gaming platforms, whether that be F1 on a Monday evening here on the PlayStation, F2 on the on the PlayStation, and on the Xbox. Sorry, on Tuesday. F3 and F4 on the PlayStation on Wednesday, with F1 and F2 on the PC. And on Thursday, it's realistic performance night as Stinson picks up 3 seconds. So it's just as I was going through my rundown of what happens when you don't pay attention, you see that the man in the front leading 3 seconds is exactly what we were talking about, Sab. He just those slight errors, and there you go. He needs now Hercules to pick up a penalty. If Stinson's going to take his first win, as Limitless picks up another. Limitless has been racking up penalties this evening. He's going to be lucky if he's not, as Beastas then picks up 3 seconds. But yeah, another faux pas there for Stinson, not having a great time this season with keeping it between the 2 white lines.
Yeah, I was riding on board with Hercules, and he only drifted wide, not by much at all, but it was enough for the stewards to say that's another warning and that's a penalty. And unfortunately for Stinson now, he's in the same scenario once again, isn't he? He's in a leading position but with penalties, and Hercules Hercules plays it safe now, and it'll be his first race win of the season for him. And Hercules, he doesn't need to do anything else really. He could potentially put that McLaren under a bit more pressure, see if it gives him any more penalties. But right now, Hercules, with 8 laps to go, is in prime position. But just going further back, Harry 5 seconds off this battle for the lead. But Andre still yet unable to get past that Renault. He's pretty much onto the back of the rear wing of Harry now. But Andre probably doing similar to what maybe Hercules is doing now, playing it sensible, doesn't want to do anything unnecessary. And as you say earlier, if he keeps it clean now, keeps it between those white lines, Andre is going to be looking at an excellent podium this evening. And it is a race to forget for Harry, but as you said earlier, he can afford to drop points, can't he, in a couple of races and still be comfortable. So even though Harry won't be enjoying his time out on track at the moment, he knows that he's got a comfortable lead at the top.
Yeah, he knows that Beastas and Rudy aren't currently picking up points, and well, next in the championship is MNT Hercules, the man as Serrano picks up another 3 seconds. And Hercules, well, he would be getting himself involved in a battle for second in the championship with this if he managed to pick up the win this evening. Stinson equally be getting involved in that second place fight, but Harry, as you say, very much leading this one away. He can afford to have these off nights, as we've seen here in Kota, where he's just not had the rub of the green. He's now 5.5 seconds and climbing off of the back of his teammate. And well, it shows you just how much it hurts you if you don't have DRS around here. He's losing time hand over fist in the moment when it comes to every single lap. He's having to defend from the Haas behind us, steadily holding it around about half a second. Andre just knows that he just needs to stay with Harry as Bando picks up 3 seconds. He's currently in 6th place, and that's going to open the door from the man that's on the charge, Sam, and that's JCol. He's just taken a second out of Bando on that last lap. He's on a brand new set of soft tyres. And, well, JCol is currently, he can close in on Bando, and it's a decent top 6 result for him.
Yeah, and if he could keep that sort of pace up, then potentially Schofield could be within range towards the end of this race, and maybe still 5th place. Talking of Schofield, I think it's been an excellent race for him. He's not really had much to do, really, apart from the early fights earlier on. Schofield has been comfortable in that position, and he's a good 7 seconds behind the fight for 3rd place with a 1.5 second gap to Bandos. At the moment he is comfortable, but as you say, JCol keeps this sort of pace up. I've just gone on board with JCol, and he can see Schofield, so the potential for a 5th place is there for JCol. He's fast, just keep it between the white lines, and who knows, more than 6th place could be on for him this evening.
As Limitless, Dylan and Nightshades picking up penalties in that last sequence of corners, as Dylan got passed by TL4S, and in fact TL4S now closing in on Cliffy. So Cliffy, on his return to a Monday night, looks as though he might drop out of the points as Rudy picks up 3 seconds. He picked up the fastest lap around about 30 seconds ago as he crossed the line, but he's now down in 18th position. Not a great evening for the man second in the championship. It's not really going to plan for anyone in the championship so far, with your top 3 in the championship all suffering. Harry, although he's currently on the podium, he's under threat from losing it. You've got Rudy down in 18th position, Beastas in 14th position on hard tyres, so it's not going to go nicely for Beastas. He's going to get caught by Humberstone, you've got to think, in the next few laps. TL44S now up into 10th place, and special mention to TL44S, who's been doing some commentated coverage of his highlights after the race, and they've actually been very good, so congratulations to Tom. They've been very much enjoyable to listen to as he makes his way through from very much something that we've done, Sab, making his way from being a pad user to a wheel user, and he actually bought his wheel off former racer Scott Bugner. So yeah, he's doing very nicely as he moves over to the wheel and gets used to that, well, that quite tricky adaptation of becoming a serial pad user to moving over to that wheel.
Yeah, definitely, and I have to say I totally agree with you on his videos he's doing on YouTube. They have been really interesting to watch. It's interesting to see what his thoughts are on the race and how it's going for him. So yeah, he's doing a nice job there, and he's currently sat in 10th place. He doesn't have any penalties at the moment, so who knows, TL44S later on could find himself scoring better points than just the one he's currently sat on at the moment. Just looking further down, JCol has managed to get past Bando Biz, so JCol now into 6th place, only 1.5 seconds behind Schofield. Has got a yellow flag in Sector 3, and it's Limitless. Limitless has spun round. I didn't see if he got tagged at all, but Limitless, who was in the points, has found himself dropped down to 13th place behind SSG Dillon. Unfortunately for Limitless there, I know he did have a lot of penalties, but fortunately that has dropped him well out of the points now, and that promotes the likes of Cliffy and TL4 up into 10th and 9th place.
And Andre here, so tentative to make the move on Harry. He had the speed, and you had to think that he had the opportunity to make the move, but just backed out of it at the last minute, perhaps thinking that he knows that Harry's got that 3 seconds, but well, I was wishing him on there. I thought Andre had the opportunity to get down the inside of Harry. Harry gave him the space, but Andre just backing out. Perhaps he's going to wait a little bit longer and go after turn 11 down towards turn 12 and use the DRS zone and try and extend a bit of a gap between himself and Harry, and make sure Harry can't come back at him later on the lap. So we'll see, can Andre get the move done this time? In fact, he's got a whole battery worth load of push to pass on. So does he use any? No, he's sitting behind, and he's not even going to need it. Here comes the Haas driver. He's about to take 3rd position on circuit, and through and up into a podium position goes Andre. Great move there. Harry very graciously giving him the space, realising possibly that it just wasn't to be this evening. He's got older tyres than everyone else on the circuit, bar the guys that have been on the hard tyres. Limitless picks up what feels like his 400th penalty so far this evening. He's not enjoying here in Kota, it seems, but well, now that Andre's up and past, he's already cleared Harry by half a second, and well. It might be a blessing in disguise we don't get to speak to Harry after this one, Sab, because you've got to think that he's going to have a few choice words for some of his friendly rivals out on circuit, let's say.
Yeah, I can imagine so. He's not going to be the happiest of bunnies, and I'm just keeping an eye on JCol. JCol now has caught up to Schofield, up into turn 1. JCol takes 5th place from Schofield. JCol, excellent move there. He found plenty of pace after passing Bando Biz, and now has taken 5th place from Schofield. Schofield just really didn't have any answer whatsoever with JCol on those soft tyres. So JCol into an excellent 5th place, I have to say. He's done well this evening, up 6 places and well into the points. It's a shame, really, he's so far off the likes of Harry on this sort of pace, because I think he could have really upset Harry somewhat if he'd have been much closer. But 6.5 seconds down the road, with only 4 laps remaining, I think Harry'd have to have some terrible laps to have JCol opportunity. But Schofield, he'll try his hardest to hold on to the back of that Red Bull, but I imagine 6th place, unless Schofield has a nightmare from now on, should seal 6th place, with Bando Biz not really threatening from behind, two and a bit seconds behind.
No, as you say, Schofield, I'm sure will be happy with. Well, who's happy with 6th position? But from where he is, I'm sure, knowing that JCol has got the fresher tyres and is much more comfortable on the soft rubber, it seems he'll just want to stay with the Red Bull as long as possible. Stinson trying to break that DRS from Hercules. He's got it up to 0.8 of a second. Equally, Andre trying to break the 1 second gap over himself and Harry. So you can see late on this one, 25 laps of 28 done, so not long left to go in this one. And Cliffy picks up 3 seconds. He was joined up with 3 seconds with Dylan on that last lap as well. So the guy's currently running in 11th and 12th position. not enjoying themselves. You can see penalties really starting to rack up. Only TL44S, Scopefield, JCol, Andre and Hercules currently penalty free. But of course I won't hold my breath. We've still got 3 more laps left to go after this one for anyone to make some slight errors. And well, if anyone makes an error, it's Hercules. It's going to possibly... He's the one that's going to be under real threat, because he's now dropped outside that 1 second window, Sab. So if he finds himself with a penalty, it's going to hand Stinson the race on the platter.
Yeah, it is. Hercules surely will be trying to play it as safe as possible, and probably a reason why he might have dropped back to a second from Stinson. I'd probably just try and make sure that he brings the car, but you don't want to drop too much time to Stinson and give Stinson some encouragement to try and break the 3 seconds, but that would be some ask of Stinson with 3 laps to go. But it is up to 1.2 seconds now, so I think Hercules, unless there's big dramas at the end, Hercules should see this race victory. I probably massively cursed him there, Gareth, but 1.3 seconds now with 2 laps left, Gareth. Who would you say this evening's probably been the standout guy? I'm probably going to have to tip my hat and say Andre's been the standout driver of this evening. He's been absolutely superb.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, a mega lap in qualifying, got himself up the sharp end, and, well, he's shown that he can fight with the big boys, and he's now currently on the, provisionally on the podium. He's got yellow in sector 3. It looks as though one of the Red Bulls it's one of the Williams, going slowly. That might be Limitless that was falling off the tail order, so Limitless and Nightshade, fighting over position. As we now go on lap 26 of 28, and as you say, Andre, pretty stellar race for him, but Stinson, well, he'll be bemoaning once again that penalty, because it looks as though he was on for the race win tonight. He's now starting to stretch his legs over Hercules. It's now 1.7 as Burmeister picks up 3 seconds. He's in 9th place. But Stinson, you can see, just putting a little bit of pressure on Hercules now, because if he can get that gap up to around about, 2 seconds, 2.3 in the next lap and a half or so, it's just going to put Hercules under pressure just to stay with him. He doesn't want to fall out of that 3 seconds in the last lap or so.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I'm just looking further down. TL4 he managed to get past Foxved, and Foxved also lost the position to Burmeister. And TL4 who hasn't got any penalties at the moment, is 3.7 seconds behind Bando, who has 9 seconds worth of penalties. So right now, TL4 is looking in prime position to steal 7th place off Bando, and that would be an excellent evening for TL4 if he can get himself within that top 7. Bando, he's had a decent race. Unfortunately, penalties are going to cost him this evening. Scopefield as well, also not any penalties. Just holding on to 6th place, but yeah, Hercules now is up to 2 seconds. Surely Stinson can't break that 3 second barrier, surely? Well,
he's used a lot of battery doing so, but, well, he's got about a lap and a half to extend this gap by about a second. He's got 2 lap fresher tyres than Hercules, so is this where the tyre advantage, there we go, there's a word there somewhere, comes back into his side of the court? He's on push to pass. He's trying to get a little bit of a boost going down the back straight. Hercules is kind of sitting around that 2 second bubble now, so unless he can extend it over the 3rd sector, he's going to have an absolute mammoth of a final lap of this one if he's to take the win. Oh, just about. There might have been a warning there, just cutting the inside line. You can see locking up into a couple of these corners is your race leader, pushing absolutely on the edge as Beastas pushes a little bit too much. And if I've got yellow, and looks as though Dylan has lost it on the exit of turn 10. He's dropped down behind Beastas and Humbostone, and it looks as though Dylan going slowly, and that's allowed the Ferrari, Speedy Serrano, up into 14th position. So the man that is currently in 15th as Limitless picks up another penalty, and such is air that he breathes this evening, Limitless picks up another penalty onto the final lap of the race, and it's going to be Stinson leading by 2.2 seconds. So, well, Sam, can he do it? He needs to take 0.8 of a second out of Hercules, 0.7 of a second out of Hercules this lap. It's going to be so close.
Oh, it is. Stinson really pushing now. You don't want to push too hard that he ends up picking up another penalty here, but 2.3 seconds. Can he find 0.7 on this final lap? Hercules looks like he's just had all his tyre life out of him. He just doesn't seem very comfortable through the S section especially. Oh, and he's a bit out of shape there coming out of the final pit there, and that's going to lose him a bit of time, I'd imagine, for Hercules. It does lose him a little bit of time. It's up to 2.38 now. I think he might just, unless Hercules has some disaster towards the end of this race here, I think Hercules might just hang on, but it's up to 2.4, 2.5 now, so Hercules, it's a good job, Gareth, this isn't 29 laps or even 30 laps, because Stinson might have just stole this from Hercules, but Hercules is out of shape coming out of the corner there, and it's now 2.6 seconds. Surely Stinson can't, 2.7 seconds now, Gareth. Can he do this with a few corners left?
This is going to go right down to the wire. 2.8 seconds. He's taking out about half a tenth every single corner. Can he do so? He's got 0.2 of a second to make up in the final two corners. It's going to be 1/10 of a second coming to the final corner. What can Stinson do? What's the time going to be? He needs 3 seconds advantage. It's only 2.8. What can Hercules do? Coming to the line. It's going to be so close. It's going to be 1/10 of a second. Hercules steals it on the line. What a result there. Stinson in second. Andre is going to pick up his first podium here on a Monday evening. Congratulations to Andre. Harry in 4th position. JCol, brilliant race from JCol, up into 5th place. Schofield is going to come home in 6th, for Bando possibly dropping down behind TL44S on penalties. We'll see as they come up to the line. So Bando does drop down to 8th position. Foxy jumps up into 8th. Bando and Cliffy picks up a point in his return to a Monday. Burmeister, Humberstone, Beastas, and, well, Speedy Serrano, who I'm sure Harry will have a few choice words for after this one, as everyone burns their way around. We've got Nightshades, Limitless, Rudy. Unfortunately for Dylan, I just checked in with him. His tyre went bang. 24 laps was all the hard tyres would do, and he was crawling around, and he decided to end a little bit earlier. But Limitless coming around the final corner. He's in 16th position. And in fact, he sets the fastest lap of 32 flat to finish that one up. Rudy is going to be your final finisher of the evening. The man second in the championship, finishing last on the circuit. But wow, Sab, what an end to that. 1/10 of a second is your gap for the winner, Hercules.
I could not believe that. I genuinely thought Stinson had stolen it from Hercules, and Hercules just about held on. Like I say, if it had been one lap more, I think Stinson would have just stolen that. But wow, that was a great way to end that. Stinson giving it his all right at the end. And unfortunately, though, once again, we're talking about penalties costing him a race victory. I hope one day we do get to speak to him in the commentary box about a race victory. I'm sure we will. He's definitely got the pace. Just like we say, he needs to cut those penalties. But what an end to that race that was. How many times already, Gareth, have we had endings like that?
Absolutely. And well, we said this evening about the fact that this would be a tribute race to Murray Walker, and I'm sure he would have been absolutely delighted with that end. And well, Hercules takes the win by a smidge over 1/10 of a second. Stinson desperately tried to extend that gap over the last lap. He took 0.9 of a second out of Hercules on that final lap, but just misses out on the race win. He takes second with Andre, an absolutely fantastic third place. Harry in 4th, JCol 5th. Then you've got Schofield, Silverstone, Foxy, Bando and Cliffy. Your points finishers this evening. Foxy making his way up to 8th place from 16th, so a great run there for the Alfa Romeo. And Sab, I'm sure when the guys join us, you've got a couple of questions for them, and well, I'd love to hear from the guys that finished in 1st and 2nd, but also you've got to think Andre, oh, here he is. Yes, here is Moin Hercules. You've got to think that Andre, when you speak to him in a second, is going to be absolutely delighted with that. What a mega race from the Haas driver.
It was indeed, and as you hear, the guys are in the box, so shall we get straight underway and speak to our race winner, our just race winner, Hercules. How close was that at the end? Was he sweating a bit?
Yeah, I'm fully wet. So yeah, pretty intense race and pretty interesting in terms of traffic, to be honest, because the traffic really decided the end pretty much. And I was really struggling at the end because I had like 2 laps older tires, which equals 8% more tire wear. So I was lucky I could stay in the DRS that long to just stay under the 3 seconds.
Yeah, it certainly gave us a great battle towards the end. I'm sure you'll want to watch it back. I thought for a second Stinson was just going to steal it from me, but that was superb racing at the end. And congratulations on that victory. That was absolutely fascinating to watch. And I'll move on to second place, Stinson. Once again, unfortunately, Stinson, penalties have cost you of a race victory, but almost tonight you nearly wiped out that penalty. Are you feeling a bit frustrated with how it's gone tonight? Because you certainly had the pace to win this evening. Unfortunately, that penalty in the end cost you.
Yeah, the pace was great. For the penalty, I drove the entire stint without a warning, and I was feeling good. And then I was watching Hercules overtaking, I think it was the Ferrari in the traffic, and they were going side by side through the third sector, and I was, oh, that's fun to watch, and warning. And a lap later, same thing, watching in front of me and warning on the same corner. So I'm a bit frustrated with that I lost a bit of concentration there. But the pace was good and the race was fun.
It certainly was, and I feel your pain because, like you say, your pace was great this evening. You've certainly shown us that you are a potential race winner. It's just, I think, a matter of when, not if, you get that victory here on a Monday night. So, unfortunately, it is a second place, but still, second place is a great finish in the end for you. Moving on to, I'd probably say, the most excited and most happiest person on the podium, that is Andre. Welcome to the podium chat. Congratulations on a superb evening for yourself. How does it feel to come home in third place this evening?
I mean, I'm absolutely ecstatic. I had a massive grin on my face going through the last few corners, and yeah, I mean, I'm over the world. Honestly, I've been really close to the podium before. I think Monaco last season and a few races this season as well, but it's always been thrown away through penalties or literally like a spin or anything like that. So I was just trying to keep it all under control at the end there, and I was sweating quite a bit just trying to keep the car on the track because I was losing a bit of grip at the end there with the mediums wearing off. And I was stuck behind Harry for quite a bit, and I mean, I thought he had damage at first because I've never seen him that slow, to be honest. But I mean, no offense to him, of course, he drove a good race as well. But yeah, I was stuck behind him for a while, and I saw he had a penalty. I of course wanted to win on track, so I wanted to delay my overtake as much as possible. But then he ended up kind of sort of letting me through at the end of one of the straights, quite awkwardly there. I didn't really mean to overtake him, but I committed to it anyways. And yeah, that was that really.
Well, it was superb to see you driving so well this evening, and a thoroughly deserved podium. Me and Gareth both said in the commentary how great you've been this evening. Probably our driver of the evening. So congratulations to yourself on that. And just moving back to our race winner, next week we're heading over to, I believe, is the United Kingdom for the next race, Silverstone. How are you feeling about that? You've got this race victory now. You've been there or thereabouts for a race victory all season. Now you've got the race victory, and with Harry seemingly struggling this evening, can you keep the pressure on Harry and really push on from here and pick up another race victory?
Yeah, I think Harry will have more motivation for Silverstone because it's his home track, obviously. So I haven't driven the track in a while, but when I raced there, I was always good. So yeah, let's see. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, that's a good word Gareth uses, is excited, because after tonight's racing, and we've seen like we've seen with Harry, he'll be motivated to try and perform better next week. So yeah, I'm really excited about next week. Are you?
Yeah, cannot wait for that. It's really shaping up. We know that Harry's got this huge lead in the championship, but if we see races like that for the rest of the season, then yeah, everyone can keep their eyes glued on a Monday evening, because that was a lot of fun this evening. I'm sure there'll be some fun conversations going on in the Discord after this one, because there was a couple of superb battles throughout the entirety of this evening. But yeah, mega race. We're off to Silverstone next week, but it's not the only race we've got here this week. Of course, tomorrow night you can join us here on YouTube for the F2 race on the PlayStation, and that will be with Malc and Craig in the commentary box. Xbox F1 be streaming live on twitch.tv/Invictus Racing League. That will be with Kieran and Dom. Then on Wednesday, PlayStation F3 and F4 with Wojtek in the commentary box on F3 and F4. I believe Andre. If you're back this week, we'll find out. But then PC F1 and F2, they'll be racing on it on Wednesday as well, live on YouTube. Dan and JCol, Cameron and Fozzie covering their first race for F2, and on Thursday it's Realistic Performance. It's Malc and Tim and it's Andrew covering the Xbox side as well. So plenty of racing to sink your teeth into here from COTA for the rest of the week. But mega race from the guys. Congratulations goes out to Hercules, goes out to Stenson and to Andre. And well, we hope you all enjoyed it very much, and you join us for round 8 in 7 days time if you aren't going to join us for the rest of the racing here from Invictus. But make sure you go to invictusracingleague.com to find out everything you need to know about the league. Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram, Invictus RL on Twitter, to get yourself involved and into the Discord, signed up to get yourself on the grid for this season or the next one. But from myself, Gareth Hall, and from Alan Sabatino for tonight, it was a night that was that we thought about, and we sent out tribute to the late great Murray Walker, and what a race we put on for him. But from ourselves and from everyone here at Invictus, we hope you have a very good week. Stay safe, stay positive, and we'll see you in 7 days time at Silverstone. Good night.